I'm Caitlin.
We are off to a strong start. Go ahead. Who are you, Mr. Man in the orange shirt?
Near the ancient Nile, in 3000 BCE, the great celebrated, for the first time in written history, a birthday.
Of course.
Wait, so that was the first birthday of all time?
First birthday that we know of.
Of all time?
Of all time.
You know what I loved is you started doing your fact thing, and I looked up and like people in the audience are going, "Where's he going with this?"
This is a weird tone.
Normal.
Speaking of tone, hello,
Do you
my
want to
name's
say
Cameron.
thank you?
You should use the hashtag Geeks Corner to talk at us about things and stuff, preferably in that order. Once you talked about those things and stuff, perhaps we shall talk back at you.
Perhaps.
And speaking of talking at people, hi Roger, we miss you.
Hi.
Maddie is sitting in your chair and helping us with the Twitterific
Yeah,
things. Twitterific challenges. I don't know. All the Twitter stuff. She's doing it. She's doing a great job.
She is.
And let's get right into things, I think, huh?
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Thanks.
All right. So we've got Caitlin here with us. She's one of our resident Disneyland experts, and she's here to be smart. And you know she's smart because she's wearing glasses.
That's true.
That's how it works, right?
Dang it.
I forgot to give you guys the memo. There's.
No, I'd like to be able to see, Mr. Producer. Thank you.
Oh, okay. We would like the producer to be able to see too,
I
because
like
that helps us.
smart.
So this last week, Disneyland announced that it's making changes to its annual pass program. There's going to be
Faith in
park-specific blockout dates. It looks like they're probably getting rid of Signature Plus. Wow, that was the magic. I wonder if that happens every time I say Signature Plus. Nope. Okay, they're not. It just looks like it.
That was only on mobile.
Oh, that was on mobile.
On desktop, it was on there.
I can whisper
Oh.
too.
Yeah, whispering's fun.
Whisper like this.
Anyway, so they're not getting rid of Signature Plus, but
It looked like it on mobile. It said that there were no longer options available for this annual passport, but when we went on desktop, it was all there. So
that must have been changed because I was on desktop for the whole thing. But
yeah.
anyway, that part's not the part that really matters. The part that matters is they're
us.
changing the blockout structure for annual pass. And anytime you change anything with annual pass, that immediately leads to opinions and such. So, Caitlin, you can start off since you're in green. And
Yep.
I'm wearing a Disneyland shirt.
and you're wearing a
Super
Disneyland
awesome
shirt.
Speaking of
Yes,
tickets.
an e-ticket shirt. So, since e-tickets are the best, go ahead and tell us what you think of changing this program ahead of Galaxy's Edge opening.
I think it's fine. I mean, I feel like over the last few months, even in the off seasons, it's been insanely busy, and I just can't even imagine what it's going to be like next summer when it actually opens. So I'm totally for it. I think it's fine. But then, in a sense, I also feel like this could potentially lead into tickets changing back to the way they used to. I was thinking about this, and when I was little, when you got tickets that were multi-day, you had to pick a certain day to go, and I feel like that's going to end up happening too. Like, I feel like this is just the first step.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I know they do it for 1 days, and I feel like that's probably going to end up happening for multi-days.
Or they'll make a
probably
discount
just-
if you plan out the days ahead of time, so then
Yeah.
they can plan how many people are in the park or whatever.
I think they need to do it. Because
Yeah.
honestly, just thinking about Star Wars, like Galaxy's Edge opening and how many people are going to go, I feel like even still the amount of pass holders, you can't guarantee how many are going to be in on a certain day, plus guests.
Well, they made a I think a deal of recognizing that they can restrict entrance at any time. And it kind of reminded me of what you hear of Tokyo, how they'll block certain entrances at certain
Right.
points. And I wonder if we'll see a change where annual pass holders actually end up being blocked midday, where they'll be letting day passes still in or something too, which I'm
Yeah.
sure would go over really well. And but I don't know. What do you think, Cameron? We'll just work our way down the road.
Sure.
I'm next. There is nothing but good that will come out of restricting the parks at this point. I feel like those who are sounding off in a not so happy fashion on the interwebs, as it were,
Could you give a synopsis of the complaints about him?
that they feel they're being undercut, that this isn't what they've paid for, that this is not within the rights of Disney to take away the value of the pass that they're going for. The problem with all of those arguments is one, in the contract you signed when you got your annual pass, it says they can do exactly this as the need arises, and the need did arise. And second, they don't see in the long sight of, by restricting the days, it means that the days you're actually getting to go, you're going to get a better experience. Because if there are less people there at certain times, if you're willing to pay the extra money for it, you will have a better time.
I'll play devil's advocate because I'm good at that. For once, I'm not arguing with someone. I understand why people are upset. Like, passes are more expensive than ever, and now suddenly you're restricted on. You have blackout dates, then you have Disneyland blackout dates, and it's all going to be really hard to keep track of. And I understand why people are upset. You're paying $1,000, and then now you're being told there's certain days you can't go to Disneyland. But I also understand that it's expensive. It's expensive, and Disneyland's expensive to maintain, and the experiences that we want are expensive, and also more people are going to Disneyland than ever. So these kind of things are necessary if you want to have an enjoyable experience. So it's a hard decision, but it was a decision that needed to be made.
Okay. Moving forward, so actually let's talk about how much confusion do you think this is going to cost when when it
So
first
much.
changes. Like, that to me is going to be and I'm hoping that they really are proactive about putting out a lot of public announcements and using sites like us to really communicate how this is going to work and which days you're going to be blocked off. But I actually think this is fine. Like,
Yeah.
you think of how much people spend on going to concerts, going to movies. Like, how much is it for the what
Movie
a
bucks?
D-Box
Oh, like
the
that
really
kinda-
nice
like
that are
20
packed every time,
Yeah.
and they're sold out like right away. That's like $20-something, and you start thinking about how these other, and at the end of the day, these are all fun things. They're not life necessities. Like, nobody's gonna starve because they didn't go to Disneyland, as heartless as that sounds. But the experience I've had through the years is when Disneyland's busier, it's less fun.
Yeah.
Right? When you get to that point where it's just too busy to, like, that's why I don't go on 4th of July anymore. Is as much as I love those fireworks and I love the military bands and the experience you get on that, having all of those other people suddenly crush in at the same time and you can't move anywhere, and it was kind of like that 24-hour day where you just couldn't move anywhere, and so it just wasn't fun. And so I think it's a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
I think they're really directing where traffic's going to go, and they're going to get to experiment with a lot of things that way, and it'll be, I think, a positive thing. You've done a video about something similar.
Economics, folks, look into it.
And I hope that moving forward, then we'll see less park capacity days.
Yeah.
I think there might be a little more control that way. Then, you won't find out that the park closed at 1 and you're
Or
on your way.
parking closed at
yeah.
1.
That too.
Well, and to me, that's the bigger thing that they're going to have to figure out is parking over parks, because that's the bigger challenges you're getting in on any given day right now. I feel like, and I was just doing quick math. If you got the $1,000 pass and you go basically once a week, you're spending $16 per trip, and that's not, in the grand scheme of things, that's a movie once a week.
Yeah.
And that's at that level, and that's not including food or anything, but that's still a pretty good deal when you think about all that you can get through Disney and whatever else. Any other thoughts?
Disney is not going to do anything that is going to hurt their bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
They have
They can't.
a lot of very, 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 very smart math people working on the math things.
And focus groups.
Yes. So if they've made this decision, it's gone through several tiers of experts saying this is ultimately the best choice for us to be able to provide the best product and still make the most profit.
Adding on, as I work at a place where prices change very unexpectedly and things change really unexpectedly, don't take this out on cast members. They had absolutely no control over this. They might not have even known it was coming before we did. So be nice to them, because yelling at them isn't going to fix anything.
Can you imagine if they didn't change anything, what would happen next year when
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy's
Chaos.
Edge opens?
Yeah, too much.
Like we probably just wouldn't go.
Yeah, honestly.
Like and that's when you start seeing like things in the park breaking more, and you see culture degrade and all of these kind of crazy things as well.
And Katie is absolutely right in that she works in a place that people kind of get knocked around for how much they're paying for things.
Yeah.
I mean, I pay upwards $25 an episode for Geeks Corner to be here. How much are you paying every week? See, the trick is, if you want to break Katie, you say something that's mildly funny and then stare. It works every time.
That's true.
Every single
Actually,
time.
I had somebody who used to tell me very like not funny things, and their game would just be right, Katie. Katie, do you get it, Katie? Until I would start laughing. It worked every single time.
So did you get it?
Shut up.
But
Okay.
Don't start the joke, please.
Okay. Well, let's go next. You had a fun, exciting adventure that you and Luke did over the weekend. I'm switching things up a little bit, but you made a fish tank.
yes. Sorry, that I was not tracking with where you were going. I'm like, yes,
I know,
our dinosaur hunting adventure.
Yes, you went on a dinosaur hunting adventure that led to a goldfish tank.
Yes.
So you made a video.
I did indeed make a
I think
video.
we're going to watch said video. Is
I
that
like
correct?
videos.
I'm getting yes.
You can see.
Nice.
Yay!
Well done.
Thank you.
So
Ah,
the next level is putting a fish in it.
yes, there is a wonderful article up on dapsmagic.com if you'd like to read on it.
In fact, it's why my watch buzzed in the first 5 minutes of the show.
We talk a little bit about our process in making this. It was helped by Luke, who was in our audience. Hi, Luke. So we kind of talked through what we did. We did not follow an instruction manual at all. In fact, we couldn't
Which is
find one
even
for
They
it.
followed
Better.
their brains.
Yes, so it is up there. If you ever want to make something yourself, you can. We do talk a little bit about the types of fish you can put in this type of tank, in the way we built it, and what you would need to do differently if you want a different type of fish. Because most importantly, you want to take care of the animal you're putting into it. So see the
Fish
animal
are
first.
friends,
Not
not,
food.
food.
That's right.
Food.
One of the biggest things we wanted to do, and it was mentioned as the video was going on by our audience, the guts of this particular gumball machine were a little too broken, but feasibly with a gumball machine you could actually make it dispense the fish food for the fish, which we thought would be pretty cool, but we didn't have the bits to do it on this one.
That's really cool. Very cool. Check out that article.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the internet, huh? We're on
like
the
the
internet.
internet.
This
I
week.
heard it was broken.
That's what I heard too. I heard Ralph is breaking the internet, and they released a new trailer this week. And first off, like it or not like it? Yes, no?
I uneasily like it.
Yes.
I don't know what to think, honestly.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of like this.
Okay.
I think it's fun, but the more I think about it, I get really nervous.
My favorite part is when they're going into the Disney section, though. And you've got Disney animation, fine. Star Wars is next, cool. And then the Muppets made it.
Yeah.
I was like, the Muppets made it on par with Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney animation. And that was a very good choice, and that is why I will go see this movie.
I do love Disney's Hollywood Studios. So
extra
great.
points is if they have Kermit somewhere in the internet. Like, they can have their princesses, that's fine, whatever. But if they add Kermit, that would be amazing. Anyway, what'd you think of the trailer? Go ahead, Caitlin.
So first off, love the first Wreck-It Ralph. I think it is pretty underrated. I think it's a fun movie. So I was excited for the second one. The first trailer was like, okay, whatever. After watching the second one a couple times yesterday,
How many times for real?
2.
That's it?
2.
Oh, okay.
Tyler and I watched it yesterday morning.
Only
and then
2?
I watched it again in the evening, like on a bigger screen.
Okay. Because there's lots of details in it.
Yeah, well, and I had to watch it so I could sit and pause it every
Okay.
so often. I'm a little less excited. Like we were talking about yesterday, it seems a little too gimmick heavy. And what really threw me off was Cinderella breaking her glass and ready to shank Penelope, and I kind of went,
What?
Have courage and be
turned
kind.
dark.
Have courage and be kind, everybody.
Like,
It's,
this turned
it's an
dark real
internet
fast,
version
like-
of them, right? Like, the way I'm rationalizing it is it's not really the characters, it's the internet incarnation of them.
Well, you brought up the biggest problem, which is character integrity.
Character
And
Well, that is a problem.
if whether or not they are an internet version, this is a
But
Disney film
still.
with Disney princesses in it.
It's not even like this is a Cinderella-esque character. They're literally like, this is Cinderella breaking
I
her
was
shoe
like,
and shanking.
Yeah,
it.
because if you wanted all of the Disney princesses in the same room, Shrek already did that. We have that.
Yeah.
And they did that very well.
It's funny you bring that up, though, because that's what we were talking about yesterday, is I felt like this is Disney's attempt at Shrek.
Yeah. I
Basically.
mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the same
that's
And,
really what we talked
and I
about.
literally, that was my first thought after watching it yesterday. I was like, huh, well, Muppets, but that feels a lot like Shrek. And I don't know if that's, I mean, it might be great. Like, maybe we have seen all of those gimmicky moments.
Or maybe they're red herrings. I mean, they
That could be
absolutely
too. And I would love if that was the case, where these are just moments that, like, these are those moments in the show. But anyway, what do you think of the whole thing? That was good.
Yeah. So I've seen some people online say that it's getting an undue amount of criticism over its gimmicks because it's like, well, Roger Rabbit was in the 80s and that was gimmicky for the 80s. And I'm like, but I feel like this is gimmicky in a way that won't.
Roger Rabbit was
last.
brand new. Like, that was a.
And it was gimmicky, but it was clever.
Yeah, this
I don't
is
feel smart after watching this trailer.
is
That's
Kim Kardashian jokes and weird internet Disney not sticking to its roots of, and I've seen the argument online of guests don't really know the Wreck-It Ralph Disney princesses apart from the Once Upon a Time princesses, apart from the Disney movie princesses. So they're gonna get confused, and then it creates this whole level of what's Disney doing?
you actually
I'm
bring up a
nervous.
really good point, which is referential behavior being done by something that should not be making references, which you see in advertisements now, you see in political campaigns right now, and when it doesn't work bad. And Disney's a little too big, I think, to make these references cool. Like,
I almost feel like it's a little bit beneath them.
It
it
is.
is, yeah.
Like, to me, it was like, it's something. It's kind of what, like, Tyler and I did when Mickey and the Magical Map was coming out. Like,
Because it's not.
Sorry,
No,
I
it's
just
not beneath us. No, that
I
is
just
right
outed
below.
you, but
You didn't say how. Yes, I edited the video. You're right.
you did edit the video. Thank you.
The video.
But you know, it was. But
Anyway, go to dapsmagic.com. Check
but-
out that amazing video.
Or don't.
it's a fantastic video. But
one of our
it
best.
was us making fun of ourselves
Yeah.
and making fun of, and we could do that because, you know, we're
Not
daps.
really
Oh,
our
it's-
brand.
Like, we can
That's
do.
literally our brand.
Yeah, that's us. We made the Phantasmic Dragon before it came out. It was great.
Exclusive.
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 With lightning bolts.
I was.
Photoshopped lightning bolts.
Or real. You never know.
I mean, real lightning bolts, of course.
The real man.
Yeah, but it is an interesting approach for them, and I'm hoping that was kind of like the highlight reel of those
hope
moments,
so.
and you see that kind of heart that was in the first one. And I just hope it wasn't a gag fest through the whole movie.
This just doesn't feel like I'm bad and that's good. I'll never be good. Like, it didn't feel like the first movie, and I hope
I'm wrong, and I hope it's great.
I hope I'm wrong. I love the first movie.
Because we didn't expect the emotional impact that Wreck-It Ralph #1 had.
It's true.
And they it was a left hook out of nowhere. So if
Yeah.
they're able to pull that again, great.
Yeah, then we'll be all for it, and which I at this point still think will happen.
I hope so.
I think come first week of December, whenever is this, the 20th,
November.
21st, it comes out in
Thanksgiving.
November.
Yeah.
So after Thanksgiving, I think we'll probably be glowing about this movie.
I do
hopefully.
think at the end of the day, it's Disney, and it's a Disney movie, and
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to walk out wholly disappointed. I think we're going to have our critiques, but I really don't think we're going to be so extremely let down as we are being led to believe that we will be right now.
Honestly, what is the last Disney and Pixar movie that bombed? That,
This isn't Pixar, but
well, yes,
Good
but
Dinosaur.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
Dinosaur.
A Good Dinosaur was my thought. Like maybe Cars 2. Like it's
And I even like that one.
yeah, and it had its moments. Like point
Yeah.
being though that there's a standard of quality that even
Home
if
on the
we're-
Range.
We're scared of. I liked Home on the Range.
It was cute, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a
it
Disney
didn't break the
classic.
box office.
No, it broke something.
The internet.
All right, we're
I'm
done.
sure that sounded good on the mic. All right, let's move right along.
Please.
This is actually great. We've got Mark Eads watching
Mark.
us, and he brought up a topic that we'd already decided we were going to hit about 20 minutes ago. And that is how we treat celebrities on the internet.
Oh,
and we are
no.
talking in particularly about Kelly Tran, who has deleted all of her Instagram posts because people are not nice. And we have our small platform where we can stand up and, you know, we get really mean comments all the time,
But we laugh
and
at them.
you'd be surprised what is said about us that we try to make go away and ignore and take the higher road on.
Or that we make really referential inside jokes about all the time.
Yeah, you kind of have to take it with a tongue in cheek and laugh at it a little bit. But at the end of the day, it is ridiculous how people are treated,
People
I
are
think.
mean.
Yeah, Cameron, I think, is holding his tongue, waiting for his turn. And he's just like, I want to say something. So, lead off. That was my really long introduction to be nice to celebrities.
Yes. Psychologically, it is a proven fact that 20% of the people you meet in life will not like you. There's nothing you can do about that. Every 10 people, 2 of them will not like you. It's just the way people relate. It's how some people don't connect well. Now, multiply that for celebrities by millions of people and assume the 20% that are involved in there. Imagine 20% of
vocal.
millions screaming at you.
Yeah.
That it's not to say that a celebrity is different than anybody else. The only difference is volume, which is something you really, really need to consider. If you want to critique somebody, it's fine as long as you are critiquing the things you should be doing.
And not making personal attacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's considered a logical fallacy in a debate, it shouldn't be used. And if you don't know what those are, educate yourself.
If you don't know what's there, get off the internet.
Stay in school.
Stay in school, kids.
Point being that if there's somebody who's that much in the spotlight, they are dealing with negativity on a scale that you cannot possibly imagine.
Sure.
And if you are adding your voice to that, you are a huge part of the problem.
Yep.
And we know that no one watching our program is, because we have complete faith in our audience. We really like our community. For the most part, you all are wonderful. And we feel like we are telling you this not to condemn you, but to empower you as emissaries to
And
the
rally
internet.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go be positive.
Yeah,
Please.
I mean, honestly, these are the times to start tagging her like crazy with positive comments, because she still does have her Instagram. I don't know if she's actually looking
There's
at it at all.
nothing to comment on.
There's
though.
nothing to comment on, but you can post pictures tagging how awesome she is.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a really nice thing to be doing, is post pictures of your favorite. Like, she has so many ridiculously good stories since she took on the role. And whether it's during filming, after filming, I love when you hear the story about her in a bar and people are talking
Oh, the
about
video. There's a video of
the
it. It's
video.
fantastic.
of people talking about her, and that's like, she is one of the most heartwarming new celebrities to come out of Star Wars, and you saw the same thing happen with Daisy Ridley the year before, and she deleted her Instagram, I believe 2 years before, I guess. And I think it's time for people to start instead of just complaining about the negative people, because that's not going to really go anywhere, because they're just going to feel empowered to complain that much more then, because they're getting attention. Ignore the negative people. build up the positive. Start tagging the people you like and telling them why you like them and what they're doing good, and one of those will really counter quite a few of those negative ones, because you just don't get them. Like, I don't think it happens a lot. And am I on the right track? Everybody agree? You got any thoughts, Caitlin? It's like, no.
I don't really know a whole lot about the whole situation other than what you just said. So
People were mean and she
Yeah.
deleted all her stuff. That's really what it comes to. You want to add anything?
I think that she's gotten an unjust amount of negativity for being
Awesome.
awesome. And really, at the end of the day, I think what it really comes down to is it does not matter how much you hate a character. It's not the person at all. David Tennant and Jessica Jones, I hate him. Hate him so much. But that's not him. That's not him at all.
No, because he's Scrooge McDuck and he's awesome.
He's not Scrooge McDuck either. He's David Tennant. At the end of the day, oh my
And he's the
gosh.
doctor. He's Dr. Scrooge.
Dr. Professor Scrooge.
That's kind of awesome.
Killed it.
Wouldn't that be a great
No, that would be
Mashup?
terrifying.
No.
You'd have
Not
a
the last
duckbill
part.
and
No, just
a Sonic
the doctor
Screwdriver.
with
Dr.
so much
Scrooge?
money.
I want to see Dr. Scrooge.
No.
Sonic Duckbill.
Sonic Duckbill.
Yeah.
Sonic Lucky Dollar.
Well, it'd be its
Anyway.
cane, probably.
Anyway, does not matter how much you don't like a character. You shouldn't take that type of negativity into the
Anywhere.
the actual actor. And
Anywhere.
she didn't pick the character that Rose was at all. So if you think Rose was stupid or whatever, she just played her. She didn't write the character. She didn't write the script. She didn't direct the movie.
And she rocked it.
And she was posting positive things on her Instagram. And
Yep, she was.
she was a beacon of light.
And she had an impossible job. Let's not forget that Star Wars fans are just
Grumps.
the most negative people in general from what I can see. There was nothing that could have been done right in this film. And yet we got some amazing films so far. That's the part everybody's forgetting. Of course, they're tearing
Including
apart.
Solo.
Yeah,
Including-
including Solo.
All
Yes.
right, well, we're going to move on now. Hong Kong Disneyland's expanding very quickly. There's Frozen coming, a whole Frozen land coming.
Is that a threat?
Yes.
Frozen.
She's going to freeze you.
Yeah.
It looks like they're getting a roller coaster now.
Yes.
Which was not in the earlier concept art, which I think is cool. Very quickly, down the line, what would a Frozen roller coaster, what would the story be?
You have to run from Elsa's icicles real fast.
Go.
You were on the back of the cart as it's going when I went from Wolves.
That's probably smarter.
Marshmallows.
That's where I was
chasing
going to
you.
go. Marshmallows chasing you, and then you go down through the village, and
Yeah.
A combination of all
yes,
of them.
there you go.
Yeah.
Olaf.
What do you think about Hong Kong Disneyland's expansions? Is anything super interesting to you, or you're kind of like, I kind
think-
of want to go? Like the castle's going to be massive. It looks like.
The whole thing. It's going to almost be a completely new park. I mean, when you're redoing the castle, to me, that I feel like that automatically makes it a new park.
I think
But
it's going to be really
gonna
cool
be
I
so
think that's a
cool.
huge undertaking to redo a castle.
and dangerous.
I mean,
Yeah.
Because Disney fans are in the same category as
It's
Star
Star
Wars
Wars.
fans,
yeah.
and we are them, so we know.
It's true.
So I'm excited about all the changes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And the Marvel stuff will be great too. You wrote this week, Katie, about the Star Wars hotel at Walt Disney World that's
did write
coming.
about
Very quickly, highlights and what are you most excited about?
It's going to basically be backing up to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, so guests can, in theory, have an entire vacation from hotel to park experience that is
Which, can you
completely Star
imagine?
Wars.
You just brought up an interesting point. You might never go to a different theme park because you want an entire Star Wars experience.
Yeah.
Full immersion.
Anyway,
Yep.
keep going.
So you can spend your entire visit experiencing Star Wars. You're encouraged to dress up as whatever your favorite Star Wars character is, or in the spirit of Star Wars. There will be droids. There will be cast members dressed in the theming of Star Wars, and I will give them all my money because I want to.
And
do
you're
this.
not the only one.
And well,
This is going to make them so much money.
the best part of it is that there is no room with a view because every room is going to have a view of the galaxy. So you don't have to worry about
From an
where.
architectural standpoint, that is so dang smart.
So
Oh, that's so good.
you can charge everyone the same amount of money
Yes.
because they all have a view of the
It's so
galaxy.
good.
And I think that's really cool.
How much do you think rooms are going to be?
Starting
night.
at 1,000. Opening weekend, starting at 1,000.
Well, no, just like generally. One night.
I would
how
put it
much?
generally, okay, and I
Let's go with generally.
Yeah, I would.
You think 1,000? You think
No.
1,000 also?
I say opening, it would be 1,000, but I'm gonna say off peak, it's probably gonna be like 800 a night. because the Grand's $600 a night, and
But there is no off-peak. That's where I'm taking my argument
That's
from.
true.
Is they keep it consistent no matter what for the Grand California.
And that's
That's
always
true.
been the goal for Disney, and the way they're basically managing all of these different passes and blockout dates is so that you can get a very consistent, this is your Disney experience every day. So if you go in June, if you go in September, whatever, I think their perfect world is get the same amount of people in the park every day spending the same amount of money.
Definitely.
And that helps them project and have a good bottom line, and it also helps people that are going to the parks have a better time because they know exactly what they're going to get. It's not like the old days where we used to be able to say January and September is empty, come to Disneyland, you can do anything, because now that's what everybody does. How much do you think?
A lot. Well, I was thinking about it
A lot. Keep that, Bailey.
because
Bailey.
I think this will be the first hotel that's like actually in or literally at the gate of a park over in Florida, because there are a lot that are really close, but you still have to walk or take some sort of
You have to go
vehicle.
somewhere.
Transportation.
So because like we have the Grand that's pretty much in a park, this will be the first that's in a
Grand.
park.
Yeah.
And taken to a whole new level.
And so it'll be absolutely outrageous.
So,
it'll be
price.
their most expensive hotel.
So how much do you
I'm
think?
gonna say between $1,200 and $1,500.
12 and 1500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
with a reduced rate for multiple nights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the
definitely.
longer
Yeah.
you stay, the better deal you'll get.
And there will be people there.
And I think we're really going to have to return to this at some point, because you're going to get into like, what are the staff going to be dressed as? What's the food going to be like? And we're going to know more of that as Galaxy's Edge gets closer.
Is it?
But
Can I
we
incite
don't
a
have enough time
conversation
for that
topic?
tonight. Yes, but we'll have to return to it next week because
Okay.
we're almost out of time.
I will stop. Well, then in that case, you should go to thegeekscorner.com, both next week when we talk about things, and also previous weeks when we've talked about the other things. Time is an illusion. It's all happening at once.
Okay, but we have
So-
one
It's
more
all
thing.
just a
Says the
ball
doctor.
of wibbly wobbly.
Go ahead,
Timey-wimey.
We
Caitlin.
have one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
It is Mr. Dapp's birthday. So we must celebrate with cake.
Okay, we'll celebrate with cake as we
Kate.
exit the show.
I want to throw it at you.
No.
We don't need to sing. We don't have
Can I
time.
throw it
Birthday
at
to
you?
you.
Please.
Happy birthday, Mr. Daps. Happy birthday to you.
So make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also subscribe to our website, dapsmagic.com. And we will see you around the corner.
All right.
See that.